When Charlie Met Jesus. Chapter 5. The Great Question. At some point, Jesus stops being an idea you can analyze and becomes a person you must answer.
I didn't plan on reading ahead. But that night, after brushing my teeth and turning off the lights, I found myself reaching for the Gospel of John again. I told myself I'd read a few verses, just enough to fall asleep. Instead, I stayed up past midnight. Something had shifted in me. I wasn't just curious anymore, I was searching. And the more I read, the more I felt like Jesus wasn't simply teaching truths. He was revealing himself. By the time I met Sheldon again, I had read through chapter 14. He noticed the tired look in my eyes the moment I sat down. I exhaled slowly. Jesus keeps saying things that I don't know how to categorize. Sheldon smiled.
Good. That means you're hearing him.
I pulled the booklet from my jacket and set it on the table. I'm starting to think he wasn't just a teacher.
He wasn't.
But he also wasn't just a prophet.
No.
So what was he? Who was he? Sheldon didn't answer immediately. He let the question hang there, as if giving me space to feel its weight.
Let's talk about what you read. What stood out?
I flipped to chapter 10. Here, I said, tapping the page. I am the door of the sheep. Sheldon nodded.
What do you think he meant?
I'm not sure. A door? That's strange. Who describes themselves as a door?
Think about it. A door is the way in, the way to safety, the way home. Jesus wasn't offering a philosophy. He was saying he himself is the way into life with God.
I swallowed. That's a bold claim.
It is.
I turned the page. Then he says, I am the good shepherd. That one hit me hard, I admitted. A shepherd knows his sheep, protects them, leads them, even lays down his life for them.
Charlie, Jesus wasn't describing a distant, faraway deity. He was describing a relationship, one where he knows you personally and cares for you deeply.
I stared at the words again. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. I didn't fully understand it yet, but something about it felt beautiful, costly, personal. I flipped ahead to John 11. This one, I said quietly, this one stopped me cold. I remembered reading the story. Jesus arriving after Lazarus had already died, Martha running out to meet him, grief and hope tangled together in her voice. And then Jesus saying something that made me sit up in bed. He said, I am the resurrection and the life. I looked at Sheldon. Who talks like that?
Only someone who believes he holds power over death itself.
I shook my head. It's not just what he said, it's what he did. He called Lazarus out of the tomb, and Lazarus actually walked out, alive, after being dead for 4 days. Sheldon nodded.
That moment changed everything for the people who witnessed it. And it's meant to change everything for us too.
I felt a chill run through me. Jesus spoke to death like it was something he could command. I turned to one last passage, John 14. This one confused me, I admitted. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Sheldon's expression grew thoughtful.
What confused you?
He didn't say he knew the way, or that he taught the truth, or that he offered life. He said he is those things. I hesitated before adding, that sounds exclusive.
It is. But it's also incredibly personal. Jesus wasn't closing the door on people. He was showing them where the door actually is. He was inviting them to be included.
I sat back in my chair, overwhelmed. Sheldon, if these statements are true, then Jesus isn't just a wise man or a spiritual guide.
No, he isn't.
He's claiming to be more. Sheldon nodded slowly.
Yes, that's the great question, Charlie. The one every person eventually has to face. Who is Jesus? Not who do people say he is. Not who do religions say he is. Who do you say he is?
The question hit me harder than I expected. I looked down at the booklet. I thought about the miracles, the compassion, the authority, the gentleness, the power, the love. I thought about the way Jesus spoke, calm, confident, unhurried, as if he knew exactly who he was and why he came. "I don't know," I whispered. "I'm still trying to figure it out."
That's all Jesus asks right now. Keep seeking, keep reading, let him show you who he is.
I stared at the table for a long moment. "Sheldon, what if I'm afraid of the answer?" He didn't look surprised.
Most people are, because if Jesus really is who he claims to be, then everything changes.
I swallowed hard. That's what scares me. Outside, the afternoon sun slanted through the windows, casting warm light across the table. People chatted, laughed, typed on laptops, living their ordinary lives. But inside me, something was shifting, something deep, something I couldn't ignore anymore. I closed the gospel booklet and slipped it back into my jacket. "I'll keep reading," I said quietly. Sheldon smiled.
Good, because the next chapters will take you somewhere you can't avoid forever.
"Where?" He held my gaze.
To the moment when Jesus shows you exactly who he is and why he came.
As I walked home, the question echoed in my mind with every step. Who is Jesus? Not the Jesus of childhood memories, not the Jesus of cultural debates, not the Jesus of assumptions or second-hand opinions. The Jesus who said, "I am the door, I am the good shepherd, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life." The Jesus who was either telling the truth or making the most outrageous claims in history. For the first time, I realized the question wasn't academic. It was personal, and sooner or later I would have to answer it.
But who do you say that I am? Matthew 16:15.